So does it work, or does violence beget violence? Continue to engage with us on the question of the day. An interesting one.
Absolutely, a whole list of different views there, of course, but we'll continue to play some of those, I guess, before we leave today, and continue to engage with us on other social media platforms as well. Let's move on to other stories now. The AU Chair, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi of Egypt, has called an urgent AU TROIKA Summit to be held in Egypt with the aim of discussing the current situation in Libya and Sudan.
This is Sudan's deposed President Omar al-Bashir has been moved to Kobar prison in the capital Khartoum, whilst fighting intensifies in Libya with no solution in sight. Speaking during the handing over of a foreign policy review panel report, Minister of International Relations Lindiwe Sisulu said South Africa, as the incoming chair, will attend the Troika meeting in Egypt in Cairo.
Since his removal by the military last Thursday, Bashir had been detained under heavy guard in the presidential residence inside the compound that also houses the defense ministry. Protests are going on despite his removal. Civilians are now demanding the military hand power to the people. Abdel Fattah al-Burhan now has the military council in charge of the country. And that council has promised to hold elections within 2 years. Uganda's Foreign Affairs Minister says Uganda will consider offering asylum to Bashir despite his indictment by the International Criminal Court. In Libya, fighting has escalated, prompting the AU to call an urgent meeting in Cairo next week.
The current chair of the AU has called a meeting for the 23rd of this month to discuss with the Troika. The Troika is the current chair of the AU, the previous chair of the AU, and the incoming chair of the AU. We are the incoming chair of the AU, and therefore will be part of the Troika discussing a way forward for the issue of Libya. So we'll call on my panel to come and assist in this matter. We've also invited President Sassou Nguesso, who is also heading the issue of Libya for the AU.
And former Foreign Affairs Deputy Minister Aziz Pahad says Western powers must take collective responsibility for what transpired in Libya. Gaddafi, the deposed leader of Libya, was captured and killed on the 20th of October 2011 during the Battle of Sirte.
And the consequences of a failed state are there for all of us to see now. President Obama, unlike any other president, while he was still in office, gave an interview to the Atlantic magazine. And I've never heard an American president say this. And he says he thinks he made a mistake because of the influence on Europe on taking the decision of regime change in Libya.
Former South Africa's ambassador to the United States and retired diplomat Welile Nhlapo says these challenges in Sudan and Libya needs urgent attention.
The ultimatum that has been given to the Sudan by 30th April to have changed and allow for a civilian government to take over. It's not going to be easy, because I think we have to accept that Sudan has always been run by the military. But I think the Sudanese people have been very vigilant to say that one too, because they know the kind of change that they want.
Meanwhile, United Nations Secretary General has beefed up the envoy in Sudan. Nicholas Haysom, Special Representative for Somalia and former Special Envoy for Sudan and South Sudan, is now part of the team looking at the situation in Sudan. Lehana Tsotezi, SABC News.